Hello, welcome to a Maker Studio. I am Cheryl and I create over on the Home I'm Making Facebook page. I am here today as a contributor because Mother's Day is upon us. So I want to show you a cute project using our stencils and some ceramic paint to make a really special Mother's Day project. So the stencil that I'm going to be showing you today, we have 3 of them like this stencil. They all have a Proverbs 31 verse on them, and this particular one is called Clothed with Dignity. So we have 3 different versions. I got it upside down. We have 3 different versions of this stencil, a little bit similar, different florals on it with Proverbs 31 verses. And this one says, she is clothed with strength and dignity, and she laughs without fear of the future. Proverbs 31:25. So it's such a perfect time of the year to use this stencil for a Mother's Day project. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use some of our ceramic paint. So we have about 13 colors of ceramic paint, but the first thing I'm going to do is I love to mix my own custom colors. So I'm going to start with 4 different colors. I'm going to use the black in its entirety. So I'm going to use that in the full color that it is. And then I'm going to use Your Water to My Ocean. I'm going to lighten that up a little bit with some white paint in Angel Wings. So I'm just going to put a little bit on my little plate, and I'm going to add some white to it. Then I'm going to add some more white, and then I'm going to use the ceramic paint green with Envy. So as you guys hop on, let me know where you're watching from. And also, if you tag 3 friends and share this tutorial, you will be in the giveaway for this particular stencil. If you just hopped on, the stencil is a Clothed with Dignity, Proverbs 31 verse on there with a really cute circle of florals. So one of the fun things about this particular stencil is you could just use sections of this floral on another project. You don't have to use the whole wreath. You could use the whole wreath without this verse, and you could use this verse without this wreath. So you have a couple of different ways that you can use this stencil. I am going to use it in its entirety, and like I was doing, I'm going to mix some of my own custom colors of ceramic paints. So since we have 13 colors, sometimes I just like to make the hues a little bit different, lighter or darker. So I'll either add some white or black to particular ceramic paints, or any of our products we have here. You can mix your own color. I think I need a little bit more white. This is one of my favorite things to do, is to mix a custom color. And if you're going to mix custom colors, just be mindful to mix enough for your project. If you want to write down the ratios that you use, do that. Because that's a little bit lighter. And then I'm going to mix this green to get it a little bit lighter. I'm just eyeballing how much I need. Again, if you're just hopping on, I'm Cheryl and I create over on the Home I'm Making Facebook page. I am on the Maker Studio Facebook page to show you a cute project that you can do with some ceramic paint for Mother's Day and a fabulous stencil. So I got them a little bit lighter. So the reason why I got this mixed up right away, ceramic paint needs to set in the air. So I want to use it in a timely fashion when I'm using it on a project and a stencil so that it doesn't cure quick. So I have my colors mixed. If I was using them directly out of the tube, I would just put some on this just like this. But since I mixed it, I did want to get ahead and mix it. So what I'm going to do is I found this really nice ceramic piece at Home Goods. So the first thing I'm going to do, and this stencil is going to fit perfectly on here. So the pedestal is just the right size for this stencil, and I think it would make a nice gift to give. So the first thing I'm going to do, sometimes these products that we get at the stores have a label on them or some sticky stuff. So I'm going to start with the clean slate. I'm going to put it on a rag, and then I'm just going to go over the top surface to make sure there's no surfactants on there, like the sticky goo or even something that I didn't even know was on there. So this is a good practice to get into when you're using ceramic paint on something, so that if there's anything going to impede the ceramic paint to adhere, we got it wiped off. So the clean slate is a good product for that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my stencil out of the sleeve. So if you're new to a Maker Studio stencils, these are a tri-mesh adhesive reusable stencil. So it comes in this little cellophane sleeve. You'll pull it out. There's another cardboard in here for stabilization. Keep that, because that's what you're going to put your stencil back in after you wash it. Then you're going to remove it from the backing that is on here. Also keep that piece of cardboard, because you'll want to put it back on there to stabilize it, to put it in the sleeve after you wash it. So I'm going to see how I can get this a little bit centered on here. As you see, if I don't like where it is, I can pull it up and reposition it. That's the great thing about a reusable stencil, is you can literally move it to the placement that you like. If I could figure the placement out, that would be great. Just trying to get it a little bit, and you do want it to lay flat. So I'm just going to pull it up, and I am going to press down so that all the air bubbles are out of here. Again, I could reposition it by pulling it up, and then just keep burnishing it down. This does have a little bit of a lip on here, but I just made it. This is the perfect size for this stencil. And the number one thing, just make sure your stencil is flat with any of the surfaces that you're going to use it with, because that will make it, the product, go through there. Just making sure my placement is okay as far as, I didn't measure it, I'm just eyeballing it. So just going around, especially on this little edge that tends to slope up, I want to make sure there's not a gap between the mesh stencil and the surface. So I'm just going to pull it off and make sure this circle is laid flush. This way, when I put the product through the stencil, it adheres to the surface. It's actually not up on the side, but you just got to be careful with the placement. On round objects, you tend to, like especially on a jar or a vase, you do want to make sure it's flush. Just make sure that it is flush. So now the next thing I'm going to do is, I have my colors planned out. So now I want to have in my mind how I'm going to lay out the design. I am going to use 3 separate brushes on here because I'm using 3 separate colors. I'm not going to get up and wash my brushes. You kind of want a firm brush for the application of ceramic paint. We have these brushes at a Maker Studio, artist brush. They come with a point. Sometimes I cut the tip off to make it a little bit more denser so I could apply the product. So I'm going to take one of these brushes, and I'm going to take some of the green, and I'm just going to actually literally brush this on like I was painting. I could see it going through the stencil with a little bit of pressure, and that's exactly what I wanted to do. So again, guys, if you just hopped on, let me know where you're watching from. Don't forget to tag 3 friends, and you will be in the giveaway for this stencil. It's a great stencil for the upcoming Mother's Day holiday. It's also a great stencil to do a project in a Bible study. If you guys lead a Bible study, that would be great also. So what I'm doing is I am kind of applying it on the thicker side because it is a thicker product. That's why I'm applying it with a brush as opposed to a spreader or a squeegee. It basically gets pushed through the mesh, and then it lays on top of your surface. Now this particular ceramic paint is a no-bake ceramic paint. So what you do is I'm going to get this all applied on here, and I usually like to let my ceramic paint sit for about 24 hours, which means I'm not going to use this tray. What I'm going to do is just let it sit on the counter and cure. And I do advise that you hand wash anything that you put the ceramic paint on. Don't put it in the dishwasher. But let it cure for at least 24 hours, which means just let it sit there and let the air do its job, which hence the no bake part of this. So I am only getting the green part of these leaves with the ceramic paint. And I could see that it's getting pushed through there, right? Because it's the surface is white. So if I don't see the white peeking through the stencil anymore, I know that my ceramic paint has pushed through the mesh. So I am losing a little bit of pressure to get it through there. I am being mindful that I don't see any white poking through, which would mean I could see the surface, which is the white ceramic pedestal. And again, this does cure in the air. So I am kind of going at a pace so I can get to the next color. That's why I had everything already mixed and ready to go to apply it to the stencil. I am going to switch brushes to a different color so I can do the flowers. I'm going to do the flowers in the blue that I made a little bit lighter. And again, just pushing it through with this brush. Cutting the tip off of our brushes does give it a little bit more of a denser brush to work with to push it through the stencil. It's not as floppy as if you left the tip on it. So again, I am going to do the flowers in the little custom color that I got. And I did the leaves in the green. And again, I am being mindful that I am pushing it through the stencil. I could see that I do that when I no longer see the white surface peeking through the mesh. And this is such a beautiful stencil. Again, you don't have to use it in its entirety. You can literally take bits and pieces of it. You could use just those words or just part of the floral in another project. That would look good on a card. You could just put this on a note card, just one section of the petals and the leaves. You could also take the whole entire wreath section and use that on a different project without the words, and then of course using the words just without the wreath. So you do have a bunch of opportunity to use this stencil over and over again. That's what makes it fun about it being a reusable stencil. I am going to take another brush and I'm going to do the center with the black. I'm going to get that done in a timely fashion. I'm going to pull my stencil off. And one thing I do recommend with ceramic paint, because it is a thick product, what you want to do is you need to get the product off right away. I do have a water bath sitting next to me, but you do, in the case of ceramic paint, have to manipulate it a little bit with your hand or even a soft sponge to get the product off of the stencil because it is thicker. So there you go. It's so pretty. So see, that's got a lot of product in it. I am going to just sit it in a water bath, and there you go. It's so pretty. As you can see, you can hardly see it on this, but it came out really nice. And that's a perfect size for this particular stencil. Perfect size, because it's just the round size that I need. So I'm going to just set that to the side. I'm going to let it cure for 24 hours, and then I could give it away or use it myself. I did go ahead and take one of our other Proverbs 31 wreath stencil like this, and I just used the words on a little tray that I had gotten from Target. So again, like I said, you don't need to use the whole stencil. You could use just the words, just the flowers, or just the wreath. So these are a couple of cute little projects for Mother's Day. So again, if you're just joining me, I'm Cheryl from over on the Home I'm Making page. Don't forget to tag 3 friends and share this tutorial so you can be in the giveaway for this stencil. And have a happy Mother's Day. Thanks, guys. Bye.